Every family has that one special person that leaves that lasting mark that affects everyone they touch. That person for me was my paternal grandmother, Myrna Davis Martin, better known to me as my Nana. Today I want to celebrate her life by remembering the person she was and how my life is better for knowing her. She was the strongest person or the strongest woman I ever knew. She had a no-nonsense personality who said what she thought and lived what she taught. She was not a touchy-feely kind of person. Her way of letting you know how much she cared about you, she did deeds. She did little things for you, and you knew that you were always close to her. Um, she was one of those people that has the ability or the unique ability to know when something was wrong and know what you were going through and how to make the light appear at the end of that dark, dark tunnel. My parents divorced when I was 6 months old. My mother remained very close to my grandmother, and I spent a lot of time with her. There were fun-filled days during the summer. They owned a lake house at Smith Mountain Lake. We'd go there for the weekend and sometimes for a week. It's set up on the side of like a mountain. The main house did. It had a screened-in porch, a wraparound porch that was gorgeous, and it had another little. It almost looked like a dollhouse, but for big kids that sat away from the house, and that had two beds in there. And of course, us kids just loved to get in that house and sleep. We thought we were something by ourselves. We used to picnic out and eat potato salad and fried chicken and swim all day up until it got dark. And then when it got dusk, we would get out on the pontoon boat, and my papa would take us riding. And of course, they had a deck with the boat. It was just those times are priceless, and you can never talk enough about them. Um, I'm especially fond of secret trips we used to take on Saturdays. I had very little contact with my father when I was growing up, so as I got older, she would call my mom and ask her on Saturdays, could she come get me? And she and my Aunt Jin Jin would come get me, or my mother would drop me off, and we would sneak away for about a 30 to 40-minute ride and go to my father's. I don't think my mother would mind much, but I didn't tell because I was told not to. Not until later on in my adult life did I let my mom know, what we had done. And, of course, she didn't mind. Nana was a spiritual woman. She was strong in her faith and never missed an opportunity to let you know that God watched everything that you did. And if you needed him, all you had to do was pray. She was quick with a smile and a chuckle. She used to eat her dessert first because she wanted to make sure she had room for it. She'd eat it first and then eat her dinner. I can remember being in church with her and my mom and papa, and something, I can't remember what, got them tickled. They just found it so amusing, and they were trying to suppress their giggling, and in doing so, the pew just rocked vigorously. I mean, here we are, and this pew was just rocking. And my papa told them to go outside and get themselves together. Well, when he told them that, they just lost it. That was a sight. But those were the times and the fun times that I remember. Um, Later in life, she showed such strength and grace. During the last months of her life, she was diagnosed with an advanced stage of colon cancer. She was realistic that this was not going to be a long battle, so she proceeded to get her personal affairs in order. The last time I saw her, she was so frail that you couldn't hug her. She had to hug you, because if you hugged her, they were afraid you might break some of her bones. And she still was like, everything's going to be fine. So much optimism about the future. She was right there at death's door and continued to live each day to the fullest, and day by day. Tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. She always saw the glass as half full. She was so optimistic. If there was a problem, her attitude was always, okay, let's fix it. Don't be upset. Don't cry. We can fix it some kind of way. She was about doing the right thing. Years ago, her parents ran into some financial difficulty with the homestead or the home place. And she went to each of her sisters. She had three sisters and asked them to help her, to borrow the money so they could save the homestead. Sisters refused, so she went and borrowed the money on her own and borrowed the money, deeded the house to her and her mother and father, and paid the loan back. Well, when her parents died, her sisters thought that they were entitled and thought that she had done them wrong and stolen from them, even though she had gone to them and asked them for their help. And they threatened to sue her. So she went and borrowed more money and paid them, what they thought they were entitled to. And she never brought it up again, but that was her way. She didn't talk about it later, and she didn't, when she was done, she was done. And when asked why she didn't fight it, she said because God knew what they had done. And God was going to have to judge them, and they were going to have to answer for that. At her death, the proceeds from the home place went to 6 grandchildren, I being one of the 6. She provided for all of us. I am thankful for the memories in my time with her. When I react in ways that remind me of her, I realize that her influence is why I am the person I am today. I love you, Nana, and thank you for loving me.